When it's really good, it's like the first time all over again. The performing arts are crazy like that. Whether it's your first time or you just wanted to feel that way, mkearts.com can take you there. The United Performing Arts Fund invites you to experience a night to remember.
Blog Talk Radio.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I know that everybody has been missing me, or at least that's the word on the street anyways, as it relates to the radio show. Obviously, I'm here on a limited capacity. So first, let me just start off and say, sorry, you guys, that I've been kind of incognito, but if you've been listening or watching social media, otherwise, you know, three big things are going on right now. Number one, I'm trying to figure out specifically how to make this a bigger and better film festival this year. So that's number one. In case those of you don't know, my New York City Film Festival this year is August 16th through the 19th. We've picked the location being Wow Cafe Theater, and that's on East 4th Street. And so you can start getting your tickets, by the way. Hint, hint, wink, wink, artisalive.yolasite.com. So that's obviously going on. I'm kind of knee-deep in planning the events for that. Second of all, as we all know, I'm doing a film this year, 100 Looks of Love, so obviously I'm still casting and doing a bit of work on that. And I'm still trying, of course, to get to my radio show as well as do PR and 800 things. So I'm here. I'm just here in limited capacity. In case you folks might not know, my show got canceled for tomorrow, so today is my one show this week. We have two shows next week and the following week, and then my final week is going to be the week of August 4th, and then I'm taking a hiatus until September 5th, and then we return, of course, to go on to television. Oh, my God, am I excited and or nervous and or lots of things relative to that. So without further ado, since my guest has been kind enough to wait for me, let's get her on the line and start talking to her. She's far more interesting than I anyway.
Hello.
Hi, Shanta.
Hi, it's Shantae. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing okay. I'm so sorry that I'm late. My gosh. We have a thing here on Blog Talk Radio where it's like when it looks like it's 12 o'clock on there, for some strange reason, it's either 2 or 3 minutes into the show, even though it's 12 o'clock here, so I appreciate your patience. Thank you for coming on the show.
No problem.
Thank you for having patience. Oh, my gosh, it's just nuts around here. I'm sure if you're listening to my intro, you see I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants right now. There's a lot of stuff going on, and it's super exciting and super scary all at once, but I'm sure you know what that's like.
Yes.
It is. It's a little crazy. So I'll try to make your life as easy as I possibly can. And I have a bunch of different questions for you because most of the time when people come on my show, you're synonymous for one thing, but there's lots of different things that you've done with your life. So I kind of want to backtrack a little bit and talk about a couple of different things first. So we'll kind of bounce around for that. First of all, I got a chance to look at you. You're very pretty. And I did not post your picture up because typically what happens is everybody's going to be like, oh, my God, New York City business owner and beautiful, and we want to be with her. So tell us a bit about Shanta, the regular, average New York City ordinary girl who's not running a business, who's not doing any kind of event production. What would we find you doing? What's your day-to-day sort of any kind of downtime, if that even exists in your life?
Honestly, my day-to-day, because my life is so busy, if I have any downtime, I'm just really relaxing and honestly doing Netflix and chill. Or taking a long walk and just kind of taking in New York City or taking in Queens. Like if I have any downtime, that's what I'm doing.
Oh, my God, how cool is that, as a matter of fact? And New York City, of course, is just, it's a life, it has a life in and of itself, like 24/7. There's constantly always something going on. So I'm like, isn't it hard to stay at home? Like, whenever I go there, I'm like, I have to be out on the subway going somewhere doing something. But you live there. Maybe it's different.
Yeah, it's different when you live here because sometimes, you know, the city will beat you up, you know, the subway delays, the traffic. You know, everything's always crowded. There's always a line. So sometimes you just want to skip all of that and just be at peace at home and just enjoy the comfort of your home and some peace and quiet, which is sometimes hard to find depending on where you live in New York City.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, without a doubt. Now, what part of I don't think that in my research I found which borough are you located in or which city are you in?
I'm in the borough of Queens, so it's known as the World Borough. Yes, because we have everything represented in Queens.
See, that's what I thought you were going to say. So here's a really great question for you. So my intention is, I'm a Midwestern girl. I've lived in my Wisconsin home my whole life. And in 6 short years, I'm moving, and hopefully my kids will move with me because they'll be 18 at that point. So I'm going to come to New York and be a full-time resident. Now, Queens I don't think I've ever been to Queens, period. That's my goal on one of these trips is to get there. So tell our listening audience, and me in particular, what do I see?
If you fly into New York from any of the airports, LaGuardia or JFK, you're in Queens. So I don't know.
God. Yeah, I didn't know that. I always fly into LaGuardia, but I didn't realize that was actually Queens. Or maybe it's just more so I haven't tooled around and really checked it out. So if there are one or two things of huge interest that you would recommend that I see while I'm in Queens, what would they be?
Let's see. I would definitely say check out Long Island City. It kind of has been through a redevelopment, so it's by the waterfront. It's tons of, like, really nice, trendy restaurants. They have a nice waterfront park. They have the ferries there. So it's a really good time to just kind of go out and explore a lot of beer gardens. So I definitely recommend Long Island City. And also, again, for photo ops, I would definitely recommend Fresh Meadow Parks, where they have the Unisphere. You know, remember the scene from Men in Black where it's like the big metal globe and the sprinklers going on behind it. So definitely there for like a good photo op to put on Instagram or a good selfie. Definitely those two.
I appreciate those recommendations because I'm like a lot of times I'm just trying to discover every borough, period. Like literally, folks, if you've never been there, I mean, it would take you like years, I think, literally to just get through every little part of New York City. It's crazy, but crazy good. Like it's amazing, you know. It's where dreams come true.
Yeah,
obviously, case in point.
You discover like some place that or some neighborhood that you didn't know existed, and you're like, wow, where am I at? What is this? This is cool. So that's one thing I love about just New York City in general, how it's like all of these hidden jewels everywhere.
Oh, my God, without a doubt. Absolutely. So now, this begs to ask the question because I did research and I see that in the past, obviously, you haven't been a business entrepreneur your whole life, obviously. In the past, you've worked in the software industry, and in fact, as a software engineer, program manager. That sounds very technical to me, and it sounds very, very out of my realm and grasp. I won't lie, I'm a complete creative. So I'm like, what? So then when I looked at your current path, where you are now as compared to where you were then and doing those sorts of things, what's a girl doing software end up wanting to do things like special events? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, that's kind of a leap, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, see, I've always had an interest in computers. Me and my siblings, we've always been into like IT and technology. And I also have a creative side. So I was able to kind of blend the two with doing web development. So being on like the front end side, the creative side of being able to use technology to make something beautiful on the web. And that's what really kind of struck my interest, like making my own website and, you know, designing my own graphics and that sort of thing, because I always like working on the computer, you know, as a kid using paint and making cards and, you know, making nice letterheads, that sort of thing. Like, so I was able to kind of blend like that desktop publishing with the tech side, working on like web apps, mobile websites, that sort of thing.
Gotcha. I get it.
And of course, I kind of went to college for.
I was just going to say, and with that education and experience that you had, how do you still, or do you even still integrate some of those skills or qualities or that skill set that you got doing that? Does that still apply in what you're currently doing, meaning through your business venture?
Yes. I mean, being able to like make sure that the website is functioning at a level that I know is ease of use for users, being able to just use technology better to communicate with particular customers, that's definitely an advantage. Nowadays, a lot of people, they don't like to get on the phone. They want to either text you and get information, or they want to do it via email. And me being able to communicate like that quickly and get them information and share photos with them and kind of do basically a digital consultation. And a lot of my customers I don't even meet, or I meet the day of. Some of them I don't even talk to. I just talk to them via email or through text. And it's kind of just a trust system that's like, hey, we all know that if you make an online payment and, you know, it falls through, you can always retract that. So it's kind of like that trust that's there, which makes it convenient for both parties.
Oh, of course, without a doubt, absolutely. In today's day and age, it almost, in my thoughts here, it almost seems almost impossible to function without having some form of capability as it relates to social media as well as it relates to technology. Because everything is kind of marketed on social media, right? I mean, literally everything we do lately, generating income, generating interest, it's really a lot of social media, right? I mean, maybe it's different in your business, but I'm like, seriously, it's everywhere.
It's all about social
Right.
and still word of mouth. But the thing is, people like to fact check you or to make sure you're legit by looking you up on social. So either way, you're going to get looked up,
Right.
and people expect to see information about you.
Exactly. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing too, because oftentimes I've made, maybe it's just me, I've made some of the best networking relationships sometimes off of perfect strangers I meet on social media, like Facebook, Instagram. It in some ways it can be kind of scary, but you can build real relationships and you can actually build your business just by one or two different great networking experiences. So it's kind of nice in that regard, I think. Definitely, without a doubt. Now, I saw
absolutely.
here that you have been a couple different places, of course. You've been in Real Simple Magazine as well as Black Enterprise. 2018, of course, we know about this illustrious rising star named by Chef's Communication. So you're a young lady. I'm old. I can say that because I am old. So I look at somebody such as yourself, and I'm like, wow. I mean, I myself, if this were happening to me, I'd be stepping back and being like, this is so amazing. So tell me something. When things like this happen and you get blessed with these accolades, of course, while you're formulating this business, because for some of us, you know, you founded in 2012, so right now it's been 6 years, so you're getting yourself established and out there. I would think you're a star already, so it's kind of like, were you expecting these things, or as they come along and this acknowledgement comes, how has it been helping your business? Because sometimes, I mean, things can skyrocket from something like this, right?
Yes, so I definitely wasn't expecting these things. I'm definitely blessed to have these accolades and these people recognize me. So I really appreciate that. It definitely helps with getting like exposure, definitely getting the business name out there.
Sure.
All of that helps as far as growing the business. But I always say that New York, like, you know, they say if you can make it in New York City, you can make it anywhere. New York City is a tough city. So, you know, it's still a lot of elbow grease, blood, sweat, and tears that kind of go into everything that needs to be done to build the business and, you know, to keep the name out there, to be able to complete the jobs. Like a lot of times people will see the end results, but they don't know about the 2 flights of stairs that you had to lug a helium tank up. You know, or they don't know about the hour ahead that 2 hours ahead that you arrive, just so you can give yourself 45 minutes to circle for a park. So those are kind of like the logistical stuff that happens in New York City that can sometimes like wear you down and beat you up. But it's like after I see how beautiful the job came out and how lovely the pictures look and how the client is pleased, it's always like it was worth it. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, no, I agree with you 150%. And I think people take that for granted, too. It's like I talk to people in the industry, and sometimes they're like, I hear these awful experiences about particular businesses and companies. So punctuality, professionalism is important. Experience is important, obviously. And, of course, it doesn't really hurt when the spokesperson of your business is adorable. And, yes, I said it again. You are so cute. And the name even is just adorable. I'm like, she's so cute. Now, we want to talk about this because this is awesome, too. Get this. Now, I just started doing film very recently in the film festival circuit, so I've only been in it maybe 4 or 5 years. I'm about to do my first film now. And then, lucky me, I find out she's an Emmy winner. OMG. So, of course, we want to talk about Beyond 911, Portraits of Resilience. So 3 questions relative to that. We want to know how you get involved with that. Number 2, oh, my God, how do you score an Emmy? And number 3, do you envision yourself, or are you currently still doing something relative to documentary or even film in general?
Actually, so let me answer the first I'm sorry. So the first question was, I'm sorry, can you repeat?
No, that's okay. The very first question that I had was, obviously we're curious about how did you get involved with doing the Beyond 911 project?
Yes, so actually I was an associate director of program management for Time.com, the digital leg of Time magazine. And for the 9/11 anniversary, the 10-year anniversary, our photograph department was doing a special online issue to commemorate the anniversary and to profile some of the survivors and tell their stories, some of the untold stories. And I was, since I was the head of the program department and working on digital, I was on the team to make sure that the website got built, make sure it got launched, and make sure it was working the day of the 10-year anniversary. So that was my involvement in working with the engineers and developers, making sure that we got all the assets from the photo team, all the videos, and getting all of that working and built out for our website.
Wow, that's very,
and back
very cool.
then it was a big deal because like responsive web was something that was like on the forefront, making sure that it looks good on your tablet, making sure that it looks good on your mobile phone and on your desktop, but using one code base. So that was like the challenge of that particular project. But it turned out it was amazing. And like with all digital companies, you submit your projects and you submit your great work, for Emmy nods.
Right.
And it was nominated, and we won. We won.
That is so very cool. I mean, it just is.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact, of course, I'm curious about, have you ever used your productions or your creations, I should say, because obviously we're going to talk about your business of balloons. Have they been in films?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, that just seemed logical to me.
Okay, they've been featured on television, but not in films yet.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, got it. I wanted to be clear about that one because I'm like, okay.
I would
and
love,
of course,
I would love to be featured in films because a lot of times I see stuff on television. I see balloon arches and columns for different, movies or sitcoms, and I'm like, oh, where was this filmed? Oh, that could be me. I can do that. So, it's all about, just meeting the right people, networking, and, just getting that visibility to the right person who can recommend you.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That sounds terrific, yeah. And the other thing being, of course, too, film can be intoxicating. So maybe one of these days you should spend a little time trying to do something short. I'm on the big kick lately to encourage everybody, just go do a film. And I make it sound so simple, like, just go out there and do what you love. Yeah, it's not that simple, folks. Just so you know, really not that simple. But nonetheless, Emmy winner is a huge thing, not to mention the fact, of course, that when you become an Emmy winner, you step into a whole other way of doing things, et cetera. And again, I would assume that that's helped your business as well, or does not everybody kind of correlate you along with this collection of work that you did with the portraits?
Well, sometimes I don't. Again, like I try to, when it comes to like my tech career and the balloon business, I for the longest I've kept them separate. So for a long time, I used to just kind of just keep them completely disconnected. Like there was the Bunch of Balloons owner, and then there was Shanta Speller, the program manager. So just recently, I would say this past year, I've kind of just let the world know that, yep, this is me. I do both, and they're two completely different disciplines, but they both have a creative side, and that's why I love them both.
That's awesome. Now, again, I always tell people when they come on my show that I'm actually not as stupid as I might sound, but yes, I am this stupid when it comes to certain disciplines. So, for instance, I'm going to say to you, okay, your technical title, one of them is Latex Certified Balloon Artist. I read that and automatically I'm like, I'm so asking her because I'm like, what? What? So, tell us all what that means.
So one of the major balloon distributors or that actually makes balloons, they have a certification program that you have to go through. So it requires you to first submit examples of your work. And then you have to take a series of online tests. If you pass the online test and they approve the photos of your work, you then have to take a 4-hour practical exam demonstrating that you know the fundamentals of color, elements, balance, texture, all of that. And you have to recreate or create your own balloon bouquets, garland, knots, just things that you should know as a balloon artist. And if you pass, you earn the CBA designation. So it requires a lot of effort to get certified. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it's the only certification there is for balloon artists. Yeah.
Really? Huh. Now, that surprises me because, now here again, dumb question, but not really dumb because we have a lot of listeners that don't do. In fact, until today, I've never interviewed a balloon artist. So, you still bet I'm asking questions. So tell us how important it is, meaning to be certified versus somebody who's non-certified. Talk to us a little bit about the importance of that because I would gather there's a specific reason why you need certification for this field.
Yeah, I mean, certification just definitely makes just working up to the point of getting certified, you know the fundamentals and you know the right things and the wrong things to avoid when you're doing balloon decor. Again, when you're dealing with foil balloons, you don't want to let those loose. You want to let your customers know not to let these balloons loose because they can get caught up in power lines and can cause fires, that sort of thing. So it's also like that education that you also pass on to the customer that a certified artist does. It's like, you know the industry, you know how important the industry is to your livelihood, and you're going to make sure that you communicate these safety practices, to your customer base. Also, when you become certified, there's a lot of balloon artists who are good who are not certified, but it definitely sets you apart from your competition when you can say, I'm a certified balloon artist. Just like any other certification in any other industry, it puts you in a whole nother ball game. When you're doing your marketing, when you're talking to your customers, you stand out, and you're looked at as a professional and not just an amateur who's doing it for fun.
Sure, of course, absolutely. Now, I mentioned, of course, that you were founded in 2012, and, of course, you're listed as an event production company. I know that you work, obviously, with the private and the public sector as well. So tell me a little bit about when somebody approaches you, and this is just personal preference. I'm asking the professional now. When somebody comes to you, what's the difference for you personally, not just professionally, about doing a private party versus working for a nonprofit? Do you have a particular favorite that you like to work for? Or maybe favorite's not a right word, but one that really gets you jazzed up or excited? And what do people most often call you for in terms of doing an event?
Okay, so my approach to handling event versus a private event is pretty much the same. I do like the corporate events because normally we can do a bigger production for it. I do like doing like the big arches, the big columns, because outdoors it can just add like so much oomph to an event. So I do personally enjoy doing those. But majority of my business is with private customers, and it's with the moms. First birthday parties, fifth birthday parties. Moms go all out for their kids, and they have the best themes. So I get to, just do a lot of fun and different ideas, and they're open to the ideas that I suggest because they want something different. They want something special. They want those photo ops. So, yeah, the moms is definitely where it's at.
I gotcha. I was just going to say to you, what I would have pictured is wedding, wedding, wedding. You know what I mean? Because balloons to me seem very synonymous with getting married, weddings, love. Or am I mistaken on that?
Well, it's picking up in the United States, so it's definitely on trend. In Europe, balloon decor is big for weddings, but right now in the States, it's picking up. So right now the trend is definitely with the huge 3-foot balloons that say Mr. and Mrs. Right now the organic arches are becoming very popular, where you kind of have balloons at all different sizes and you put like floral arrangements with those. So that's picking up. The more elegant side of balloon decor is definitely picking up for the wedding industry.
Gotcha. Yep. Oh, of course. I gotcha. Now, what we're talking about, folks, is obviously, of course, your business is called Bunch of Balloons, and you create balloon art. You would, just like with any other creative art, I usually tend to believe there's a process. I'm a professional author, so there's a process on how I do my art, obviously. So maybe if you could walk us through, let's say we have somebody that approaches you. All right, I'll be a typical example. I have a son. He is going to be turning 12 in August, and I come to you in the fine city of New York, and I say, all right, I need you to help me out. Take us through the process, the actual process behind the scenes before the balloons finally show up on that day. What's all involved with you in doing that entire process? Take us a little walkthrough from start to finish on that, if you would.
So when a customer reaches out to me, if they don't provide enough information up front, I probe. So the first thing I want to know is, do you have a theme in mind or a color scheme that you already have in mind to work with? That's one of the things that I like to know first. If you have a theme in mind, I also ask, do you have any inspiration, any Pinterest boards, any photos, any pictures of a cake that is inspiring you to put together this particular event. I ask them to send me that because that also helps me. It inspires me to suggest to them creative ideas for what we can do with the balloons. I also ask them, what are they looking for? Are you looking for centerpieces? Are you looking to cover an ugly wall? Are you looking for something to frame a stage? Are you looking to have their name in balloons? So that's kind of some of the information that I like to gather up front. When I do, I'll either look through my portfolio or I'll go online because a lot of other talented balloon artists share their work online, and I'll start putting together some ideas of my own to inspire them, saying, hey, this is something that we could do for the tables, this is something we can do for the stage, etc. Also, of course, I ask them, where's the venue? Like once I'm able to,
Right.
once I know the venue, I look up the venue. I kind of get an idea of what the inside looks like. What are some of the constraints of the venue? If it has low ceilings, I can't do the 3-foot balloons. But if it has huge ceilings and a lot of empty space, I can do bigger decor that can fill up some of that space and create atmosphere. So that's kind of some of the information that I get from them, and I share back to them just to kind of gauge what they're looking for. And most customers,
Wonderful.
again, people are visual. Once you show them some ideas, you're basically leading them down a road, and then they can come back to you and say, actually, I like this, but can we add XYZ from that somehow? So
Sure.
that's kind of how I work through the planning of what we're going to do for the decor.
Now, when I saw that I was interviewing you, and again, call me a little nuts, and I am. But by the way, one of the first things that crossed my mind was, have you ever been pitched the idea of doing an event or doing something to where it's strange, weird? I for some reason I went to the weird right away. Like, I wonder what the oddest request you've ever had was. Like, oh, we want you to make balloons of so and so. Have you had any quirky or out of the ordinary, out of the norm sort of requests ever?
No, not that I can recall. Everything has been nothing strange or weird. No, no,
Wild. Now
no.
that's different because I'm like, well, of course, you could go to the bachelor party, bachelorette party, or some of those weird
Right.
kind of things. But I was like, yeah, okay, well, cool. That means that you have yet to have your most unique or interesting, which is okay. I get that, obviously. Now, I've seen different sorts of balloon art that you've put together. Obviously, columns. You've done arches and drops and things. A bespoke design. Again, more terminology I'm not understanding. What exactly is that?
Purely custom. So sometimes you may do a bespoke design where you may fill the balloons with feathers or tulle. You may customize the balloons with the person's name or a personalized message. You may use like hand cut shapes for the tails. Like those are like really bespoke designs when it's like very custom and unique to the individual or to the event, where it's like this is not just like a red balloon blown up. It's a red balloon that says happy birthday, Susan, happy 21st. You customize it. You could have even done a custom color to balloons. So that's when we talk about bespoke designs.
That's amazing. Well, and the other part of the equation is, too, I have to ask the obvious, and I guess that it's case-by-case basis, so I don't want to just make a presumption out there. But as it relates to once somebody puts an order in with you and orders something or says, hey, we have this event, et cetera, typically how much lead time is involved? So, for instance, let's say somebody works in L.A., comes to New York, has a very last-minute thing, or even a pop-up store, for instance. What are they looking at in terms of lead time from you?
It all depends on what they're looking for. If they're looking for a balloon delivery, I just need probably 2 days lead to make sure that I have the inventory in stock, depending on like what colors they want, what size they want. If it's more of something that's a bit more custom, I need at least a week because I may have to hire up some extra helpers. I may have to get additional framing, especially if it's something that's outdoors. Your framing needs to be secure. It needs to be heavy so it's not tipped over, the wind doesn't blow it, etc. So normally a week or more lead time to pull through. And again, to get any special materials that may be needed.
Well, and the reason I ask that is just because of the fact that obviously, of course, having a lead time is important because if somebody's listening in and they're like, okay, maybe she can't facilitate it short term, it sounds like you can make it a point to facilitate any and all sorts of orders, et cetera.
Yeah, as long as I can get my hands on the inventory, I can do it. So again, some of the things that you may not have in stock is like confetti-filled balloons. They may have, I want gold confetti inside. You would think it'd be easy to get your hands on it, but sometimes it's hard to get your hands on metallic gold confetti or metallic silver confetti, and that may take some lead time from ordering it online and getting it on time. So that sort of stuff, the more lead time, the better. Again, it all depends, too, if I have any other jobs that day. So it's like working up the logistics. Can I swing this part of town and then make it over there in the next 3 hours and be able to pull things off? So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And clearly, I guess I should throw this idea out there, although you're typically, I'm guessing, engaging with adults, or are you in the child sector at all, or are there opportunities where you're at events where there are smaller children or youth?
As far as the events that I do,
Yeah, and the reason I'm asking is because I'm always picking at, because of course I have the heart of a journalist. Even though I do radio, of course I research people. And we all know, obviously, that there is sometimes a bit of a small downside as it relates to balloons if they're not used effectively. And again, because I'm balloon stupid, for instance, I don't know if they make, I don't want to say organic balloons, but you know what I mean? There's always that danger of choking. There's a danger of, particular helium, et
yeah.
cetera. Do you know what I mean? So is any of this affected, does this affect your industry at all, or is there ever issues or problematic sort of things that you address or need to address, I should say?
Well, there's definitely, it does affect the industry, especially when we talk about, balloons in the environment. So a lot of us in the balloon industry try to put on our website to make it very clear that, latex balloons are organic. They break down at the rate of an oak leaf.
Sure.
So that's the type of information that we like to communicate. Of course, we assume the onus of the client that their child or other people do not have any latex allergies. We don't do any latex deliveries to hospitals to avoid that. So those are just kind of some of the concerns, of the industry when dealing with balloons. And again, we have in our contract, you have to supervise your guest. You have to supervise the staff at the venue that, they shouldn't put any balloons in their mouth. They shouldn't take in any of the helium from the balloons because all of that is hazardous and is dangerous.
Of course, without a doubt, that kind of goes without saying there, doesn't it? But you never know.
Yeah.
Because in this day and age, they have like organic and they have this or this or this. I wouldn't have been shocked if you're like, well, just so you know, there's this new balloon that does blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Now, I took a perusal on the website, so folks, obviously, when we get done with the interview, I'll tell you all the ways to find her, including her website. But I was looking at the website, and I happened to notice that you have a section where you have the blog listings that are on there. So are blogs something that you do on an ongoing basis, or is it intermittently, or how does that work, just so we know?
It's intermittent. I want to blog more. I don't blog enough, so it's definitely something that I want to pick up doing more of.
Sure.
There's a lot of, there's even tons of pictures I haven't even had a chance to post yet. But for certain jobs, I like to tell the behind-the-scenes story of what it took to put it together, or take snapshots of all the different supplies and what was created from that supplies. So, yeah, I definitely do like doing the blogs and doing that storytelling aspect, because I know people are interested in it, and it just kind of shows the range of what you can do with balloons. It's not just a balloon on a string. It's far beyond that.
Of course. And some of the greatest, I would say, if I were to ask you your best to date so far, do you think in your own opinion where you're like, okay, all my creations are great. Is there one that kind of stands out that you were just personally super proud of?
For me, super proud of. I wouldn't say there's any particular job that I was super proud of, but there are particular photos where you get that right angle that really captures the atmosphere. And I would guess I would say there are specific photos that I'm stoked about. And I think one of them for sure was that I did at the Eunice Fair at Fresh Meadows Park. It's that's an icon of Queens, and to get my balloons in that shot is amazing. I often daydream, I would love to do a beautiful balloon arch in Ellis Island with the Statue of Liberty behind it. I would love to get that shot of my work. So it's kind of those iconic New York shots that I would love to get my work in. But actually, now that I think about it, I never thought that I would, again, you walk past something every day or quite often, you never think that you may get the opportunity to decorate it. But I decorated Bryant Park for New Year's Eve one year, and I never thought that I'd be decorating Bryant Park.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you
I
just
saw
kind
that.
of never know what opportunities kind of come to you.
Oh,
but
my
yeah,
God,
it's
without
those
a doubt,
iconic
absolutely.
New York landmarks that I love to get my balloons in.
Oh, that's so sweet. Listen to that. So you have obviously done Bryant Park New Year's Eve, the New York City Marathon, as you mentioned on TV, Love and Hip Hop, and, of course, the Bravo Chris Marks Project, clearly. And then I saw very recently you had that event in Queens at the Plaza. That wasn't so long ago, as a matter of fact, that you had done that. Was that a success? I imagine there was a huge turnout for that.
Which one was that? I'm sorry.
It was on your
look like?
Facebook personal page. So I was like, well, if it's on our personal page, it must have happened not so long ago. And forgive me, I didn't actually look at the date, but I imagine. Oh, I apologize. I'm back on here. It's March 19th, the WeWork Queens Plaza opening party. I assume that you had part on there because all these people are like, congratulations, and I'm like, oh, I got to ask her about this. And now it's occurring to me. Did she not have balloons there? Did I just screw up on air?
No.
Probably.
No, it's so funny. I didn't have balloons there, but it was their opening. They just opened the WeWork building there, and I happened to win the grand prize, which was $5,000 credit in office
That's
space.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Duh. Next time, read, Cindy. Duh. Okay. We'll just ignore that one. But no, the last four that I read off, like the Love and Hip Hop, that happened in Bryant Park and all that good jazz in New York City Marathon. So in the next coming year, now if there are people out there that are listening in, are you due or penciled to do public events where people can come and meet you? Are you going to do a pop-up shop? That was another thing I thought about was you in the city doing a quick pop-up for like a week or something like that to promote your products. What if people listen in and they're like, oh, my God, I want to meet this woman?
Well, actually, September is National Balloon Month, so I was actually thinking about doing a little PR thing. So I kind of had the idea of putting 100 smiles on New Yorkers' faces because, sometimes the reputation is that New Yorkers don't smile. So there's like these colorful balloons with smiley faces on it. And I was thinking about just kind of, randomly picking some popular locations in the city, showing up with balloons and a small crew and just handing them out to just put smiles on people's faces because you'll be surprised how the kid comes out of everyone when they're around balloons. Everybody loves balloons. It makes people happy.
Absolutely.
So
of course,
that's definitely something that I would love to do this year for National Balloon Month.
That's absolutely awesome. That is so sweet, as a matter of fact. And the cool part about balloons is it's such an easy, simple way to make somebody happy. It's not just for you folks to make play noises with, by the way, or sounds or whatever. But that's so cool. And I love the fact that you just did Fallon's, you did Bridget's child's event, and I thought that was so sweet. I'm like, oh my God, that's so adorable. And I also learned about you. Hello, apparently you've been to London 8,000 times more than I have, considering I've never gone, and the princes got married, and now I have no chance. But okay.
It's so funny. I'm actually leaving tonight to go to London.
Imagine that. What did I just say, folks? Hey, thanks for inviting me. Okay, that's all right. I'm over it. But why the attraction? I mean, is there a particular reason that you gravitate to there? Because I'm like that with New York. I'm like, I can't wait because I'm coming to New York next week. So I get it.
Yeah, I have a good friend that lives out there, and I love to visit. I always like going to a different city, and I love the energy of London. It kind of reminds me of the energy of New York City. And, sometimes you just want to get out of Dodge for a little bit. So I like going there. I like getting out of Dodge and just kind of experiencing London, And then, you could drink outdoors, unlike New York. So, it's kind of nice to be able to, have a drink outside.
That is so sweet. That's awesome. As a matter of fact, you'll have to tell the princess I said hi. Yeah, because I'm sure that they care that I exist. And that's oh, I know, right? She's so beautiful. Tell me she is not. Oh my God! I watched them, and folks, yes, the royal family does have. I think the palace itself, Kensington Palace, is on Instagram, and I see these pictures, and she really is. Maybe it's just me. I think she's a landmark statement to the country and to the world. They have such a beautiful relationship. They're young, and it's not just an ethnic difference. I think oftentimes people look at her and they're like, oh, she's this ethnicity. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I just think she's an engaging,
modern,
lovely,
a modern royal couple.
And modern. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so it's very refreshing to see that, as a matter of fact. And from what I hear, according to your personal page, the subways don't have certain elements that we do in New York City. I was like looking at that and I'm like, it's so clean, right? She posted this picture like it's so clean, right? Go to New York, folks. Okay, tell me your subway experience. I saw my first, oh my God, dare I say it, rat go across the subway platform, and I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, that was not pretty.
I saw my first one-legged man strip. Yes. On the subway. Yes.
Are you serious? Really?
Yes.
That is so wild. Really? Oh my! I don't even know.
Yes.
Oh, I don't even know what to do with that. That's not right.
Yeah.
In many
Yeah,
Jeez.
you see some crazy things on the subway. Yeah.
Oh my God, right? I mean, it's scary. I tell people all the time I'm afraid of it, and they just laugh at me, and I'm like, don't laugh at me, don't hate, because it's true. It's scary,
No,
folks.
it's true.
It's interesting and scary. Like
give,
I could do a film and be afraid at once. It's like the bonus of the subway. That's me.
And I'll give you a tip. If you're ever standing on the platform and as the train is coming into the station and it's super crowded, but then you see one cart that's not, do not go into that empty cart. There's a reason why it's empty.
Yeah. That's too funny. I absolutely love that.
If you think you're so lucky that you're going to get like, oh, it's an empty cart, you're going to run on it and get a seat, there's a reason why it's empty. And the reason it could be anything, but it's a reason. So, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's
my
one
God.
thing. That's one thing you learn in New York City. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, without
An empty
a doubt.
cart
so there you
is
go,
nothing
folks.
but trouble.
She can teach you how to make balloons, and you got safe smart about the subway. All that in one bonus interview. I'm just saying. That's awesome. Now, I don't want to forget to mention this. I know you serve the New York City market, so obviously New York City, Brooklyn, and Queens, etc. Do you think you'll venture out into Jersey or Philadelphia or any of the surrounding areas, or are we kind of solidifying that this is our base?
I would love to expand into other markets, but, you just have to build up to that to be able to scale and to be able to service those markets. It's kind of it's hard when you don't know the area and, you have city names or towns names that you may not be familiar with, but may be like 5 miles out, which is still, serviceable. So, it's something that I definitely would love to do in the future.
Cool.
Again, to expand. Who wouldn't want to expand, want a franchise? You kind of have those big dreams of,
Exactly. And do you happen to ever do, or I'm guessing this could be future stuff as far as, I'm also assuming that they have trade shows, conventions, things like that. Is that silly to ask? Because in your industry, I assume they have it for everybody else.
They do. They have a huge, it's called World Balloon Convention. It's huge. It happens every 2 years. I wasn't able to make this year, but I made last year's and the year before. Mm-hmm. But this year it was held in San Diego, California. The year before that it was in New Orleans. And it is huge. People from all over the world come for this convention. And you learn so much. You meet so many different people, and it's amazing. Yeah, it's totally worth the time.
Very cool.
To attend.
I don't want to forget to ask this either. Right now, as we speak, or in the future, do you have any of your creations that are out and about? I noticed the other day when I was in, I want to say Soho area or somewhere along those lines, I came across a store that literally has balloons draped outside of it day and night. So are there any places that you have anything on display, or is that something that you're working on as well?
I don't have anything on display because the balloon decor is so temporary. Because, if it's indoors, it could last you a good couple of days. But if it's outdoors, it's really only going to last you a day because of the elements between the sun, water, dew, that sort of thing. So, I don't have anything that's on display. No.
Got it. Okay. Understood as far as that goes. All righty. Now, I want to go through all the various ways that people can reach you. However, I want to, first off, throw out a few things to you so you understand this. After we get off the air, about 2 hours or so, the episode becomes archived. And then what I do is there's a copy on Blog Talk Radio. There's also a copy that goes on YouTube. So obviously, of course, we can make sure that you get the both listens on both sides of the fence, because typically in the middle of the day it's kind of tough. But people will eventually get around to it, because I would hope some of you 63,000 people are hearing us today. I hope. So that's number one. Number two, since you've never been on the show, there's always surprises. Always surprises. Okay. So I have 2 things to throw out at you. First of all, you're more than welcome to attend, because I will be in New York City in mid-August because my film festival is going on. So if you have any interest in independent film or meeting tons of filmmakers, because remember you said that word, I've never been in film. Hello, best way to meet people. We're having it at, do you know where the Wow Cafe is on East 4th Street?
I will find it.
I was just going to say, and I'll send you the information so that you can find it. So that's going on August 16th to the 19th, so you've got that out there. And then second of all, the other surprise is this. There's always a reason why I ask things on the show, and that's probably because I'm doing a movie. And the movie that I'm doing, you just won't believe it, both movies that I'm doing the center core. One of them is called Loves to a Mirror. The other one is called 100 Looks of Love. And there's no better way in my mind, in some particular scene somewhere in this 20 or 30-minute extravaganza I call film, where we won't have a moment of love where somebody is going to need or want a balloon, or in this case, I'm actually in the film getting married. So I'm like, what better way would we have to accent your product than to have you create something while I'm getting play married on, well, assuming anyone will want to marry me. I can't even get a real boyfriend, let alone get married on film. So the bottom line is I'm doing a short film and I'm doing more of a feature film, so know that I will knock on your door or at least say to you, hey, are you interested? Because you said you wanted to have your product in the film. Well, I'm handing you an opportunity to put your product in my film if that interests you.
It definitely interests me, and there are some lovely heart-shaped latex balloons that are beautiful. They're huge. Then they have smaller ones, and I can just imagine all the guests holding one and crowded around you guys as you kind of say the vows.
So
yeah.
Oh, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
And the cool part about this particular scene in the feature film anyways, because I haven't done the short film yet. I think we might do the short first, the feature second. In the feature film, we have more of we've got a couple Hollywood people, and then we've got some TV people. And, of course, the one person getting married in the scene with me is one of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. So it's kind of cool because then you're getting me and the Real Housewives in a shot at the same time. So it's, like, super exciting. But I just wanted to throw that out there because I'm big on doing the surprise factor, because all of a sudden you come on and I'm like, bam, there you go. Who doesn't want a surprise in the middle of the day? Although London's pretty cool, but just saying. Thanks for inviting me again. So let me just read off all the ways that you can find this lovely woman we've been talking to today. Her name, again, is Shanta Speller. She owns a company by the name of Bunch of Balloons. So here we go. The website itself is, and this is all hyphenated, bunchofballoons.com. Facebook page, Bunch of Balloons. And, of course, she has a personal page. And her name is spelled Shanta Speller. Then she has Twitter handles, 2 of them, Bunch of Balloons, and then at is it SL Speller? Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Then on Instagram, of course, Bunch of Balloons NY for New York, of course. She has a LinkedIn profile. And, of course, as it relates to Instagram personal, it's PhatGlossies. I was going to ask about that name, but do we want to explain the Instagram name?
No, it's so funny because everything is taken. So I used to have a handle like back in the day called Fat Glossies, another way of spelling fat, like fat glossy eyes or fat glossy lips, because everything is taken. So, you come up with this stuff, and, I didn't have a personal Instagram for the longest, and everyone was like, get a personal. And, I tried all the handles, and they were all taken. So I went back to Fat Glossies.
That is so wild. Oh, my God. So now you know how to find her there. And then, of course, the production we were speaking about where she won that Emmy again, Beyond 911 Portraits of Resilience. If you go to either Amazon or time.com/collection/beyond-911, you'll be able to go ahead and check that out. Are there any other places that I have missed where people can find you?
No, and just around about in Queens. So if you see someone who looks like me toting balloons, it's probably a bunch of balloons.
I was just going to say, there you go. You can just go wandering around until eventually you see this beautiful young woman who's walking around giving subway advice and talking about London. You know that you found her. So, yeah, there you go. I do hope, by the way, that your trip goes very well. You make it there safely. Have a wonderful time, obviously. Make no mistake that you're more than welcome to come back on the show. I mean, anytime you'd like. Obviously, I'll forward this information off. And then, like I said, if you're interested, we can certainly get together. Obviously, I don't know if you're back. I'm in the city. I'm coming back the 18th.
Yeah, I'll be back.
And I'm working. I'm working at Film Festival the first 2 days, but I have some flexibility. But we can work that out as far as that goes. But just know you're welcome to come back at any point in time. This is just wonderful, and I just appreciate you taking the time.
I thank you so much for this interview.
Sure.
I mean, it was great speaking with you. You're hilarious, and it was great. And absolutely, I want to talk about your films and how we can collaborate together.
Oh, great.
Absolutely.
That sounds terrific, my dear. All right, I'll be in touch soon. You have a great afternoon.
Okay. You too, and thank you so much.
Take care,
have
dear.
a good day.
Anytime.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Tell me that she wasn't adorable. Shanta Speller is her name. And again, the website, all in hyphens, bunchofballoons.com. She's on Facebook as Bunch of Balloons as well as her personal page. And and we'll get back to that. I want to double check on that spelling because I think I made a mistake. The Twitter handle is at SL Speller, and of course the Twitter for her company is Bunch of Balloons. She's on LinkedIn, Instagram, Bunch of Balloons, and then NY for New York City, and her personal, which she explained, which is PhatGlossies. Obviously, if you go to either time.com/collection/beyond-911, you'll be able to see her collection, and I want to just double check and make sure that we have that correct here. And that would be the name, Beyond 911, Portraits of Resilience. So if you go into Amazon and just type that name in, you'll be able to see it. And as we mentioned, she is an Emmy winner, of course. And then on Facebook, you'll be able to find her on her personal page, and that's SHANTASPELLER. I want to send a very huge hug, and I hope she can feel it all the way from Wisconsin to New York City, to my dear Bridget O'Brien. Bridget O'Brien is the reason that, well, I say this all the time, her and Dana Humphrey are the reason that I actually really got to working with publicists in the first place. They were the two really good friends of mine who took a chance on me and send me their clients and continue to do so. I always hope and pray every time I do a show that I do them well and that they're very proud. So today, Bridget, like any other day, I do hope you're proud of me. I miss you very much, and I love you. You already know this. For anybody that's out there, if you're in the New York City area and you want to work with probably one of the top PR people, period, in the entire city, Bridget O'Brien, PRandEvents.com. Her name is Bridget O'Brien. She's absolutely 100% all in with every one of her clients. She is probably, to me, one of the classiest, most creative PR people that are out there in general. So again, Bridget O'Brien, PRandEvents.com. Thanks so much again to Shanta. Had a wonderful interview. As I mentioned, folks, that's it for me as it relates to this coming week. Unfortunately, my guest that was supposed to be coming on tomorrow is unable to do so. Sadly, I am disappointed because I was looking forward to this. Anytime I get to interview an independent filmmaker, I get excited. However, that's not the case. So please join us on Monday at 3 o'clock Central Standard Time, where we will have another indie filmmaker. Marco Verratella will be on. He is not only an opera singer from Las Vegas, but also an independent filmmaker, and his film, The Last Call, is actually showing at my festival in August. And then Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, we are having, oh my God, so excited, Dino Luciano, which is one of the most phenomenal food artists out there. So please join us the 16th and 17th of next week. Obviously, of course, I'm off the air for the rest of the week. You guys, thanks so much for listening in and taking the time to support both myself and Shanta and the show. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys next week. Take care.
When it's really good, it's like the first time all over again. The performing arts are crazy like that. Whether it's your first time or you just wanted to feel that way, MKEArts.com can take you there. The United Performing Arts Fund invites you to experience a night to remember.
On Facebook Marketplace, you can buy a ping pong table from Gabriel, or you can sell a record player to Taylor. Because on Facebook Marketplace, there's a face behind the things you'll find here. Facebook Marketplace. Shop with real people for really great finds.